Okay, this is your 9th XNA game development tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to go over how to access functions from classes and instances of those classes. You might be kind of confused by what I mean by that, but I can show you right now. So remember how we made these two functions right here, walk and run, and we also created two instances of the human object or class we made. And so what you'll want to do is run these functions from the instance of the object, and I can show you what I mean by that. So let's just take all this out, and we're gonna write something to the screen. So right line, and just say walk function. So now when we run this function, it's going to print this out to the screen. But what we have to do that is use one of the instances of the object we created and run it from that object. And to do that, we're going to type the identifier of our object, and then we're going to put a dot. So, this dot is really important because whenever you want to access something inside that instance or instance of the class, then you're going to need to use this dot right here. So you'll say dot, first of all, just make these public. I'm going to explain what public means in maybe a few tutorials or something, but just do that for now. And then so put a dot after the identifier, and then you're going to say walk, and then do open and close parentheses, because remember there's nothing there, but you still need them. And then don't forget to put the semicolon. So then run that, and then you'll see it says walk function, so that did run. And alright, so now what we can also do is can also access our variables right here, but again you'll have to put public before these. And so you can say, so you can access Joe's name by just putting Joe dot name, and that'll get his name, because whenever you create an instance of an object, there's going to be one of these variables for each of those objects. So Joe has his own name, his own eye color, his own height, and Fred also has all three of those as well. But one thing is that for functions, the class always there's only one of the functions for each class because they do the same thing. They don't have different values, they just do something. So for each instance of the object in memory, there's only going to be one of those functions there to run, but each one will have their own variables and different values for those variables. So let's do some examples with this. So let's do console dot writeline Joe dot name. So we're going to print out Joe's name. But before we do this, name is never going to be equal to something. So you have these warnings right here that name is never used, so it's never going to be equal to anything. But what we have to do is set the name inside our class to the name that we sent it. Because remember, these two names are completely different. But what we want to do is set them equal to each other. So what you have to do that is this, and what this means right here is it's basically saying the instance of this object. So say this dot name. So when we do that, it's gonna get this one right here, because since these have the same name, it's kind of ambiguous. So what you have to do is say this dot name is equal to name, and then that will get this name right here. So now this is going to equal to this. So this is going to equal to Joe when we put this right here. So it'll print out Joe. There you go. Joe. And we can also do the same thing for Fred. So we sent it Fred right here when we created the new human object. Sends Fred down over to here, and then we set Fred's name inside the class to the one we sent it, and then that's going to print out on the screen when we put Fred.name. There you go, Fred. And you can see if we do this for Fred.iColor. Remember, iColor is still has that warning. You never set it equal to anything, like we did with the name. It'll probably give us, it won't print anything out. It'll just give us a blank line because there's nothing in that string. Alright, in the next tutorial I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you about properties. We haven't really went over that. Yeah, so we'll go over that in the next tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.